Hey YouTube, Anthony here. It's late morning here in North Georgia. I've been out hiking for a few hours. I've decided to stop, make myself something to eat. And today I'm going to be using a Toaks Ultralight cook system to boil some water for my mountain house freeze-dried meal. This ultralight cooking kit comes with a pot with a lid, a stove which is identical to the Esbit tie wing stove, a windscreen, and a folding spork, and it comes in at per manufacturer specs at 4.4 ounces. I have added a 3.75 milliliter cup to this cook kit, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take it out and go through the specs in each piece individually. So here's the Toaks Ultralight Titanium Cook System in its stuff sack. I'm going to go ahead and start taking the pieces out so you can see what's in it. One large stuff sack that holds the whole pot and cook system. Okay, the lid. I like the lid. It's got this little flip up bail. You push it over and then it doesn't fall down, so you can always grab it with the stick or your fork or something to pull the lid off if it's too hot. I have 4 half-ounce Esbit fuel tabs in here right now. If packed correctly, I fit, I think, up to 8 or 9 of these half-ounce fuel tabs in the system. Some people complain that they smell a little fishy. Sometimes, I've noticed it once in a while. It really doesn't bother me. So this coincidentally is my first solid fuel tab stove. I usually use canister or alcohol. This would be the spork and the stove. I'll get to that in a minute. This is my 3.75 milliliter titanium pot that did not come with this cook system. We'll talk about that separately in a minute. Inside, I have the windscreen, which I will start with the windscreen. Now, the manufacturer specs for this windscreen is, let me read it right here, 16 inches by 2.78 inches. This windscreen here actually measured 17 3/4 inches by 3 3/16 inches instead of the 16 by 2 7/8 that the manufacturer specs called for. Not sure why it was off, so I did have to trim it down a little bit. It's now at the 6 grams that the manufacturer spec called for. I do think I have to trim just another hair, maybe 1/16 of an inch off it, because when I put it into the pot I put my cup in, and the lid doesn't seem to fit as tight as it should, because without it the lid actually does fit pretty tight. So that's something that I'm going to work on when I get home and fix that up real quick. So you have a 550 milliliter pot. It's got 2 handles that fold out and holds pretty securely. Lid, talked about the little lock and bail, 3 holes in the top. Fits pretty decent. This pot with the lid, manufacturer spec 3 ounces. Mine weighed in at 2.5 ounces. I don't know if the specs came or included the stuff sacks or not. I'm not including that. So 2.5 ounces for the cup or pot, however you want to call it, and the lid. Windscreen, already talked about briefly, 6 grams or 0.2 ounces. The cup I added, the 375 milliliter cup. This one weighs in at 52 grams or 1.8 ounces, in case you wanted to know. That did not come with the cook kit. Now we're getting into the spork. A lot of people don't like sporks. I don't seem to mind it. Lock and spork. The spork itself weighs, where are you, spork? 18 grams or 0.7 ounces per manufacturer. This weighed 17 grams, 0.6 ounces, according to my scale. Stuff sacks, again, I mean, they weigh a couple grams a piece. I don't mind carrying them. Some people might not. Now we'll get into the stove. So this is identical to the Esbit tie wing stove. Looks identical. I don't know if it actually is identical with a different name on it, but there you go. Esbit tie wing, except it has the name, so you can see it. Toaks on it. Okay. I'm going to get some water in the cup, get a fuel tab out. I'm going to light it up, and I'm going to go ahead and boil some water. My mountain house freeze-dried meal calls for 1.5 cups of water. One thing I did forget to mention before is this cup does not have measurements on it like some other brands do. But I did notice, I don't know if the manufacturer did this or it just happens to be coincidence, there are 3 sets of welds holding this handle on. It just so happens that the first one is 1 cup, the second one up is 1.5 cups, and the third one at the top, that just happens to be 2 cups of water. Again, I don't know if that was done on purpose or it just happens to be coincidence, but I go ahead and use that. It's really tough to see on the inside, you gotta look, but it does work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and light this tablet. Should probably break out my phone to time this also. Okay, it's lit. There's a cup. Now the windscreen, I had to trim the width and the length a little bit, and I did a couple cutouts for the handle so it fits around there nice. And start. So while I'm letting that boil, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the specs, see if I missed anything. For each item, the total cook system manufacturer spec is 4.4 ounces. Mine weighed in total at 4.1 ounces. The pot with lid, manufacturer 3.0, mine's 2.5. The folding stove, manufacturer 0.5 ounces. Mine measured 0.5 ounces, 14 grams as opposed to their 13. The folding spork, their spec was 0.7 ounces or 18 grams. Mine was 0.6 or 17 grams. My scale doesn't have decimals of grams, so the rounded might be a little off as opposed to, you know, some other people's scales. Let's see, the windscreen, 0.2 ounces. Mine weighed in at 0.3 ounces or 8 grams, but when I trimmed down the width and the length and I added a couple little grooves on that side for the handle, it did come out to the 6 grams or 0.2 ounces. Total weight for the whole kit with stuff sacks is 5.96 ounces. Without the titanium cup, again with the stuff sacks, this is my 375 milliliter titanium cup, weighs in at 4.1 ounces. Okay, well I'm just about at 6 minutes and it's just starting to boil. I actually can't tell you what the temperature of the water was. It was about 37 degrees when I started out this morning, and it's gotten to about 50 degrees right now. So temperature of the water, I have no idea. Now one thing I do kind of like about these Esbit tabs is they can be blown out. Let it cool off, put it in a plastic bag, and you can relight it and use it later. Okay, I'm gonna go wrap it all back up and put it away and get out of here, start hiking again. So again, you got the spork, folds. You don't have to use the stuff sacks. You know, some people choose not to. For a 1/10 of an ounce piece, I choose to. Stove. Okay. Windscreen first. And this is a 375 milliliter cup I added to my cook system. Get the stove and the spork inside there. My 3 Esbit tabs I have left. Lid. Stuff sack, good to go. The Toaks Ultralight system, without the cup that I added, I think cost about 58 bucks on Amazon. free shipping. I don't remember what the 375 milliliter cup cost. To add to it, again, without that cup, as manufacturer, 4.1 ounces with the stuff sacks. I said I did have to trim the windscreen a little bit because it was too big for what I liked, and it came rolled up in one of those little tiny stuff sacks, which just, it was tough to fit in there. It was tough to get out of the stuff sack because of course that windscreen wants to unroll, and then it just, I don't know, it was a mess. I like it a lot better like this. I hope you enjoyed this quick video on the Toaks Ultralight Titanium Cook System. I'm Anthony. Thanks for watching. Take care.